and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. If you're new, my name is Autumn. I have two little girls, Alani, who is 4. She'll be 5 next month, and Emmy, who is 2.5 finally. I feel like I just always keep saying she's 2.5, and now she actually is officially 2.5. So I will be doing kindergarten for Alani, and I will be doing preschool for Emmy. If you didn't see my previous preschool videos, I will make sure to link those. That is basically what I'm going to be doing with Emmy, but she will be tagging along with some of the kindergarten things that I'm doing with Alani. So I most likely will not make a preschool curriculum video unless people are asking for it, because it's going to be fairly similar to what I did with Alani. This video is going to be about the main kindergarten curriculum that I am using for Alani. I have already put up a phonics video, and I've already put up what we are using for math. So if you didn't catch those, they are linked in the description as well. There are so many options if you are going to be searching for curriculum, and I really think that it can go right in so many ways. Most of the things you choose are going to be good for your child. You know your child best. And the great thing about it is you can always change it. I very much did not want to put a lot of money into anything just in case it was something I didn't decide to stick with. So a lot of the choices that I made for curriculum this year are things that were budget friendly for my family, so that if I decide that it's not working out, I don't feel like I'm stuck having to continue using it. The curriculum that I'm going to talk about today covers literature, poetry, arts, social studies, science, character building, cooking. So there's just so much covered within this curriculum, which is why I did pick the separate math and phonics, since it doesn't cover those things. It also doesn't cover handwriting, but I'm not really too concerned about that and don't plan on buying a writing curriculum this year. But if I do, I will let you guys know. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it in a previous video, but I chose Torchlight for the kindergarten curriculum. Torchlight is a secular curriculum. As I mentioned in my Why I'm Choosing to Homeschool video, I was interested in a secular curriculum. Torchlight takes a Socratic inspired approach, so it's a lot about dialogue between the parent and the child. They actually refer to the parent as the learning partner. And so it's about discussions, it's about questions, and really just trying to build those critical thinking skills. And that is something that really drew me to this curriculum, on top of it being very literature based. Now, when I say literature based, there is a lot of literature in this curriculum. There are books in this curriculum called spines. They are ones that you are going to be going to more frequently. You're not just reading the book and being done with it within a week. So those books I'm trying to purchase so that I don't have to constantly try to get them from the library. But a lot of the other books, I've looked them up already. They're available through my library, so I shouldn't have too many issues getting them. And even if I do, there are suggestions for other books that you can use. So with the Level K curriculum, as I already said, it's very discussion based, about asking and answering questions. There is a reference sheet that can really help you in knowing what kinds of questions to ask. When I was in teaching, we were taught that there are different levels of questions, and we had to make sure we were asking questions that were within different depths of knowledge, so that the student was really showing that they knew and understood the information. So maybe we're going to be starting out with questions like, where is this country compared to where we live on the globe? Is it higher or is it lower? And then eventually we're going to move into questions of whether something is north and south of the equator. What does it mean if they're closer or further from the equator? How would their life change? The things they eat, the things they wear, if they were in a different geographical location, if the climate was different, if the elevation was different. So the goal is, by about mid-year, to be having deeper discussions about what we are learning. And I don't think I mentioned it, but the theme of Level K is worldly wisdom. So we are going to be learning about countries all around the globe. I have a globe picked out that I want to purchase for the curriculum. I just don't have it purchased yet. And I'm just so excited because, for those who are new to my channel, I was an international studies major. I specifically studied East Asian studies, and even more specifically than that, I studied Japanese. But I just have such an interest in the world around us. I have not traveled as much as I would love to, but I believe this will be a wonderful opportunity to expose both Alani and Emmy to different cultures and views and foods and all of these different things. So I am very excited for this curriculum. It is supposed to be a 36-week curriculum, but I think we are going to take about 2 weeks for every week. So each week is a new, I guess you would say, unit. I don't know if they necessarily refer to it as a unit, but each week covers a different area. And I just think because of how much is in this curriculum and how much I could really do with this when it comes to just extending it, I think that it'll be really great for us to take 2 weeks for every one of the weeks it's supposed to take. Now, as I mentioned, I don't believe I'm going to be using a writing curriculum, so that'll be the only thing that we're not necessarily covering with a curriculum. But my thought is, in my state of Pennsylvania, I don't have any requirements for kindergarten. So this is still supposed to be a year of fun, and I don't want it to be too rigorous. So when we're writing, but I don't want to add another curriculum on top of all of the things that we're already doing. So I do want to quickly mention some of the things that I am prepping, as well as some of the things that I am adjusting. I have not yet printed out Alani's student workbook, but this is what the cover of it looks like. I do not plan on using the pages that are within this printed resource because they have a different page that is available that I think will work a lot better for what I want to do with Alani. I'll make sure to show it on the screen, but I think these pages will be a lot more helpful for what we are doing. And I also just think it'll be more interesting for her than a whole page where she is dictating and I'm writing a full page of information. I think just with how many different things are going on with this page, it'll allow her to pick and choose what she actually wants to do. I'm not expecting her to fill up both of these pages for every country or region or anything like that. I want it to be something that is fun for her and that she's able to just do what she's interested in, and we'll go from there. Another thing that I have prepped that I do not have with me, and even if I did, it would be way too big, is a map. So once you buy the curriculum, you have access to member resources, and one of those is a giant file for a map. Now, I do find the map to be pretty busy with all of the arrows that it has pointing to the different areas. But I do feel that since it is going to be a very large map, it'll be pretty easy for us to fill in and color and just make it our own. So I'm excited. I actually have already printed it. I just have to go to Staples and pick it up. And I also have to find the space of where I'm going to put it, because if you've been watching my videos for a while, I don't have a ton of space. Like, it's not like I have a homeschool room or anything like that. So we'll figure it out, but I'm excited to get it and to figure out where we're going to put it. I've decided, based on the Torchlight curriculum Facebook group, some of the suggestions were to put it on a trifold board. So when I looked, the measurements do line up. So once I pick it up from the printer, I'll be able to put it on a trifold board, and that will make it a nice sturdy board for us to be able to complete the different countries with pictures and images and coloring. Another thing that I have added into this is a passport. So this will be a passport that Alani can fill out. Emmy too, I will make one for her as well. But I found this online, and inside it has this top page for personal information. And then it has these sheets where you can fill out the information. This is just what I have after printing and cutting. But I am going to be getting the stickers or stamps from Teachers Pay Teachers. I'm just going to print it on sticker paper so that it is easy to put into their passports. What I will say is, if you're getting passports, even if it's from Teachers Pay Teachers, if you're getting passport stamps or stickers, just be careful of some of the ones that you find. Even with Teachers Pay Teachers, I was finding passport stamps that had all of these lists of countries, and then when it came to Africa, it was just Africa. So this is something that truly irks me. Africa is not a country, and I'm pretty sure that's actually one of the books that we will be reading within this curriculum. But even in grad school, I had this issue where a professor was assigning countries and one of the options was Africa. It's something that drives me crazy. There are many countries within the continent of Africa. So if you are printing out any of the passport materials, just keep an eye on that one, because that is something that I found way too many times. And honestly, that is something that drew me to this curriculum. I appreciated that it wasn't just this is Africa and this is what we're going to study and all of Africa is the same. And even outside of the continent of Africa, I'm so excited about the many diverse books and resources that are available within this curriculum. I feel like you can tell a lot of work has gone into this. Like, as I've looked through it, I've seen little notes for things that might be a little much for sensitive learners, such as if something delves into the topic of death or anything like that, it just kind of gives you a warning so that maybe you want to pre-read or pre-watch something so that you can make sure that it is right for your child. So again, there are just many things within this curriculum that I was impressed by. And there are so many supplemental lists, like they have different apps you might want to look at, or media, or books, even music. So I appreciate that you can kind of figure out what you want to watch or read at times and just have that flexibility. They even have some suggestions for bedtime stories. One of the things I changed out, which was on the supplemental list, is the cookbook that we will be using. The cookbook that it recommends is The Cultured Chef, and it looks like a beautiful book. You can even purchase a passport that goes along with that book with stamps and everything. So I was originally going to purchase that book, but when I did see that this was one of the options, I knew that this would be something that Alani would really gravitate toward more. So I ended up going with the American Girl Around the World cookbook. And then obviously, if there are recipes within that we don't want to do for a specific country, then we can just always go online and find a recipe that we do want to make. There is an optional weekly schedule that is included within the curriculum, but as I said, I will be trying to spread the week over 2 weeks, so I will be using a separate planner so that I can do that, as well as adding in phonics and mathematics. So the weekly schedule will be helpful in my planning, but I'm not going to be following it. What will be most helpful is the weekly checklist that they have, because that'll really help me to see a bigger picture of everything and then fill in what days I think will be best to do those certain activities. Each week there's an area that tells you what you should prep, as well as what supplies you will need. And then at the end of the week, there is an area for extensions, and then there's another area for enrichment extensions. So that's if you need to beef up the curriculum a little more. And they do note that for any of the videos they suggest, just to watch them ahead of time, make sure they are going to be right for your child. I showed one of the science books in my thrift books video, but Be Naturally Curious is not included in this curriculum. So you'll see it within the curriculum for science, and if you don't want to use it, you don't have to. But if you do choose to use it, it is a separate purchase. Once you purchase level K, you get a significant discount to purchase Be Naturally Curious. I've seen within the Torchlight curriculum Facebook group, some people opting not to use Be Naturally Curious, some people wanting to have something a little heavier when it comes to science. Again, for kindergarten, I don't have to do anything for Alani. There's nothing that the state requires. So I don't really want to do anything too heavy. And I'm perfectly fine with science being a little bit light before there are major standards being placed on what she's learning. If you're not aware, Pennsylvania does have pretty strict homeschooling standards. So the Be Naturally Curious curriculum has mini courses, and each of the mini courses starts with a story. The story is supposed to be fun and engaging, a lot of times has some sort of movement involved for your child. And I've looked through it. I think it's beautiful. The stories do sound really fun. And I think that Alani is going to enjoy it. I think that Emmy will enjoy it as well. Each mini course does include a project, and that project could be something such as coloring and decorating a model of a butterfly, or something more involved such as building your own compass. Another thing that it has is games. So it could be card games, it could be board games, but there are games that your child will get to do as part of the activities within that science mini course. I know my girls are gonna love all of those things, but I think they're gonna have really a lot of fun with the field journals. So whenever possible, they want you outside exploring nature. And my girls both have their own cameras. I will link the kitty camera that Emmy has. It used to be Alani's, but we gave her an old digital camera that we used to use. And Emmy now has the little kid camera. It's adorable. They love going out and taking pictures. So I think that drawing pictures is great, but also being able to photograph what they're seeing is nice as well. So I'll make sure I link that camera. As I've mentioned, I really do want to involve Emmy as much as possible. The suggested age for the curriculum is 4 to 8. So Emmy being 2.5, she's not really at the age that she is supposed to be for this curriculum. But I do think there are going to be a lot of things that I can involve her in. She's obviously not going to pick up on as much or sit and listen to the stories as well as Alani will. But I don't think there is anything that would be harmful about her tagging along and being part of this learning journey. I looked at so many different reviews when I was trying to pick the curriculum that I wanted to use. I looked through blogs, I looked through recommendations from people I follow on Instagram, but this is what I landed on, and I'm really hoping that it is everything that I want it to be. Again, similar to the mathematics curriculum that I chose, I really love that there are so many different ways that I can approach this, and I can make it our own, make it work for our family. If you have any questions or comments, as always, please leave them in the comment section. And if you're not following along on Instagram or my blog, make sure you check those out as well. I will try to remember to put the links of anything that I mentioned into the description. As always, thank you so much for watching my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.